Hey guys, so WPL has finally released their own metal chassis linkages for C14 and C34. And the issue is not that the plastic version of the chassis linkages break easily, it's actually the plastic axle truss that breaks easily. Although WPL does have a metal axle truss, but it's not compatible. But it's not compatible due to the design of the plastic chassis linkages. It is not possible to be mounted on the metal axle truss unless some modification is done, which I did on my C54KM, but it requires some 3D printed parts. Well, this will just be basically plug and play without modification. And I'm going to attempt to build it. There's no instruction that comes with this. For those who are new to WPL RC, currently there are two generations of C-series chassis. C14 and C34 are the same generation, the first generation chassis. C34 and C44 are the second generation chassis. And comes to the C54, it is using the C14 and C34 generation chassis. The main difference of these two generations is basically the wheelbase chassis, the axle truss, and the chassis linkages. So they are not cross-compatible. Now this is released, so you can have a metal version of chassis linkages and axle truss for your first generation C14, C34 chassis. Before you start, take a picture of your undercarriage first, so that you know the orientation of this axle, this pumpkin here. Otherwise, the wheel direction may be reversed when you put everything back on. You'll be wondering what the hell is going on. My car is not moving forward. Alright, so these are the parts you're gonna get. The axle truss, they are the metal one. This is the cast aluminium version, so it's slightly heavier than the CNC version and also cheaper. These four chrome screws, they are for the shock absorber. These two black color screws, they are for the upper side of the axle truss. And then you put a nut over here, so this will secure the top two metal linkages. As for the brass ball end, this type with two ball end is for the side single piece one without the screw thread. Is for the upper side of the axle truss. Then this one is for the chassis side, if you can see it here, plus a nut over. Our toe band version of metal linkage is for the upper side of the chassis linkage, because there's a 2-speed gearbox here with a solo horn here. If it's a straight link, then you'll be interfering with gear shifter over here. As you can see, there are 12 metal links here. 8 are the straight one, 4 are the bend one. If you are using this on C34, you use all 8 straight one. If you are using this on C14, C34 and C54, you'll be using 4 straight and 4 bend one. I'm going to install all the metal linkages with rod end first. Actual length will be determined later. I have used up 16 rod end and none of it broke or cracked when installing it onto a steel linkage. So just make sure when you are installing the rod end to the steel link, make sure that it's straight. Gonna remove the existing plastic linkage out of the chassis. The axle, shock absorbers as well. You're gonna remove the wheel as well, so you can remove the shock absorber. Alright, I've gotten everything out. This is the extent of this assembly. First thing I want to install is the metal axle truss. Just the same way as you installed it before. There are some burr on the hole, so you may have to drill it out a bit so the screw can go through easily. Notice the orientation, this side going towards the front of the vehicle, the pumpkin is offset towards the left side. You're going to dismantle the shocks to change the steel shaft inside so that you can use the new type of rod end here, so that it becomes like this. Open the top carefully. Remove the spring, remove the original rod end, put in the new shaft, install the new rod end, make sure it is straight, make sure it is not over tightened, just turn until it is at the end of the thread, that will be sufficient. Now we're going to install this type of rod end onto the metal axle truss. It comes with a 2mm Allen key, but let's get this hobby grade hex screwdriver to do the job. You can purchase this on our sister store, Asia RC Depot. You can check our link in the description. Makes your life way easier and also prevent issue of rounding up. So this version here is a 2mm version. It comes in a set of multiple combination, usually the 1.5, 2.0, 2.5 and 3.0, and there's another set with other types of the Phillips and also the flathead screwdriver. I'm going to take a straight steel linkages, put it on, then you pop the shock absorber in, repeat on the other side, then the shock absorber. For the top one, you need this type of brass ball end, and then pop it onto the bend type of linkage, and I think it's on the longer side. Do it on 2 bend linkage first. So get the long black color screw, slot it to the hole, the other one, and apply the lock nut. For the top band linkage, you bend it in a way that it opens up like that. Next, get this ball end and install onto all 4 holes on the chassis. These 2 and these 2. Secure it with the nut provided. And I think this is not very proper because the hole of the frame is larger than the diameter of the brass ball end shaft. Okay, all 4 installed. Now I'm going to pop them on, ensure the correct facing of the drive shaft. And the straight one goes to the lower side. And secure the shock absorber. Alright, there you go. It's installed. It works and pretty smooth too. And regarding the lower linkage, maybe you can install the rod end on the outside. Really smooth, really works really well. So finally, there's an official version of this metal chassis linkages, and also most importantly, the metal axle truss for your WPL, because this tend to break when there's a heavy rollover down the hill while you are doing crawling. After you have done the rear, it'll be very easy to do the front one. Front is done as well, and it's smooth as well. I think it actually looks very good with metal chassis linkages. More sporty looking kind of rig now. So you can check out a link in the description on where you can get this upgrade, as well as the tools and some other non-WPL RC products on our sister store, which is Asia RC Depot. You can check out the link in the description or over the screen. So tell more people about it, that WPL finally has their own metal chassis linkages and also metal axle truss that works on the C14, C24, C34 and also the C54, which is the same chassis as the first generation chassis. If you have not done so, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!